All right, everyone. We're so grateful to have you on this evening. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the toxins that surround us. Unfortunately, we do have quite a few toxins, and we're going to talk about the hidden ones, the ones that you might not know right off the bat that could be affecting you, and how we can avoid those. Now, at the end of this, I do not want you to go away feeling completely discouraged and frustrated and feeling like there's no hope. That's the exact opposite of what I'm hoping we can do tonight. I want you to go away feeling empowered, knowing what you can do to decrease the toxins and the toxic load that you are involved in or have around you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start talking. First, we need to do a couple of definitions. So, what is a toxin and what is a toxic load? A toxin is something that will place a stress, an undue stress on you, on the body. So, these are things that are in our surroundings. They're things that are usually due to habits that we have, that we come in contact with. And the sum of all these toxins produces our toxic load. So the accumulation of these toxins will begin to accumulate within our bodies and can create problems. Unfortunately, when your body has too many of toxins, when it gets too much of a toxic load, it's actually going to start decreasing in its efficiency. Particularly, you're going to see things, organs that start having issues. Your liver and your kidneys are going to start having issues early on because they are your main detoxifying organs within your body. So it's very important that we try to keep our toxic load to a minimum. But unfortunately, there are so many, tens of thousands of chemicals that are on the market. And in fact, in the United States, only 7% are tested for safety annually, which is kind of crazy. You think about all the chemicals, and only a small fraction of them are actually tested to make sure that they're safe for you to actually utilize. Kind of crazy. Um, but what we want to try and do is make sure that you are running at your best and that when you're able to decrease the toxic load and then any toxins that you have in your body to excrete, to bind those and take them out of your body, that's going to give you the best opportunity and best chance to have a healthy, productive, happy life. So let's start talking about what are the main perpetrators of toxins that are in our life. These could be surprising to us, but we're going to talk about this. Food, water, plastics, cleaning and personal care items, and then fragrances. So let's start off talking about food. So foods, many of our raw foods, our fruits and vegetables, they're sprayed with pesticides. This is nothing new. That's not, we've done pesticides for a very, very long time in the United States. Um, Unfortunately, with something like glyphosate, if you're familiar with glyphosate, which the common name for glyphosate is Roundup, glyphosates create a myriad of issues for us, including, here's just three of them: neurological damage, glucose dysregulation, and systemic inflammation. So let me break those down. Actually, this, by the way, if you look in the right corner, this is all research. These are all research articles that are I'm citing here. And if you look at the bottom there, it says that this came from a systematic review. A systematic review is the highest level of research that can be done. It's basically they review hundreds, if not thousands, of research articles. They look at what the conclusions of those research articles said, and then they say, okay, this is conclusively what these type of what the outcome of using this product or this process, what it led to, right? So with all these research articles that they reviewed, they found that when you're exposed to glyphosate, which is this pesticide, neurological damage. So this could include ADHD. This could be behavioral problems, and this could be things like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. So that was seen in people who were exposed to glyphosates. Glucose dysregulation, common one in this category is diabetes type 2, right? Systemic inflammation, so think arthritic issues, systemic arthritic issues. So there are a lot of issues that are caused by pesticides like glyphosate. The reason why is because, for instance, you take the neurological damage. It actually attacks the pest's nervous system. That's the purpose of it. And so when we get a high amount of this in our system, which would be, you can even get a little amount over a long period of time, it's going to add up and it's going to start deteriorating your nervous system. And also it's going to have other effects also, like this glucose dysregulation and inflammation. Okay. So that's a big thing. All right. Something to keep in mind. Here's another thing. This has gotten a little bit more, I guess, people have become more aware of it in the last couple of years. PFAS. So this is a chemical compound. And whenever you think of this, I want you to think of something that's nonstick. So that can be your Teflons. This can be any coatings that are put on our fabrics that cause them to be water repellent, right? This can be pizza boxes. Have you noticed that, like, if you go to like a fast food restaurant, those things are all made out of cardboard, all the boxes that they come in, the food comes in, but the grease doesn't absorb into it. And the reason why is because they have PFAS that are put on the outside of them to keep them from absorbing fats, which is kind of crazy. It makes it non-stick, right? So this is true of, yeah, popcorn, microwave popcorn bags, pizza boxes, lots of different things, candy wrappers, right? That they actually coat on the inside, which will make it so it does not stick to it. It doesn't absorb fat, and it can be much easier to transport and things like that. But unfortunately, what they've found is that this can lead to thyroid dysfunction, liver disease, insulin dysregulation, kidney disease, reproductive complications, and cancer. So, not a good thing. This is going to attack your endocrine system, and all of the organs of the endocrine system are affected in these dysregulations that you see here. So, not a good thing. So if you if you can avoid PFAS, the best way to do it is, and why I put it actually in here is because the way that we prepare our food, obviously, if you're using nonstick pans, then you are getting PFAS, unfortunately, because it comes out of it can come out of that coating and actually get into your food. Okay. We're going to talk, PFAS is going to come back up in just a little bit. So we'll go into that a little bit more. So here are the rules. Here are things that you can actually do that will actually help you prevent the issues that we just talked about. So rule number one, anything that you eat that is a fruit or vegetable that does not have a peel needs to be organic. Okay, so there's something called, if you want to look this up, it's called the Dirty Dozen. And it's the ones that have the highest amount of pesticides that are sprayed upon on them before they ship them out and you eat them in the store. So it's called the Dirty Dozen, and you can look them up. But it's your fruits and vegetables that have the most pesticides. As a rule of thumb, so something like an avocado, we usually get organic, but we don't always get organic if we can't get organic, right? Because it has a peel that you actually take off and you don't eat, right? But I would recommend doing anything that you like, blueberries, spinach, anything that doesn't have a peel, make sure it's organic, okay? Here's rule number two. Don't use Teflon pans. You can use ceramic pans. I forget what is it, what?
Copper.
No, green pan.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
it called?
Uh-huh.
Green
Green
pan?
pan.
Okay. There's a company called Green Pans, which we've used for many, many years. And it's a ceramic coating that doesn't release any chemicals. And it has a very, very high heat tolerance, which is awesome. So now I will tell you, it doesn't slide right off like a Teflon pan, but it's much, much safer and better for you. What were you going to say?
Copper and stainless steel
Yep.
are other good
That's
options.
usually what we use too when we don't need something that's a less stick, right?
Mm,
With my eggs, I always do it with the
the
ceramic coated
ceramic,
pan.
yeah.
Yep,
Mm.
yep. And then also avoid fast food boxes. I know we want to avoid fast food in general, but the boxes actually are extremely harmful for you. I didn't mention this, but PFAS, it's a molecule that's extremely stable and actually goes into your body, and it's called a forever chemical. It cannot be broken down, or it's very difficult to break it down. And so as a result, it can just stay situated in your body and wreak havoc. And that's why you get all those myriad of dysfunctions, is because it's a very stable uh, compound that causes a lot of issues within us. Okay. All right. So here is PFAS again, unfortunately. So this is from the U.S. Geological Society. I pulled this right from their website. So the U.S. Geological Society, excuse me, is a government entity. They actually will measure different geological issues that are going on. So whether that is um, geothermal things or gas, things like that.
Pollution.
Yeah, pollution. But they also look at water. And so this is a map, and you can see everywhere that there's a little white dot is where it was tested, where the water was tested. And you can see the level of PFAS that was in the water that was tested in that area. So not the whole US hasn't been tested for PFAS in all the water, but unfortunately, what they found from this is that in 47% of the drinking water in the United States, we have PFAS. Okay, so that's kind of discouraging or depressing, but and you look at Orlando there, unfortunately, we have it in high amounts. So,
The
and they have
bigger the circle,
the
the
more,
worse.
yeah, the more PFAS there is. And it's interesting. You look at Miami, it's not even tested down there. So I think it's kind of interesting. There's some areas that they haven't even tested. But unfortunately, we have a lot here. So I'm going to talk to you about ways that you can actually get that out of your water, because it needs to come out because it's going to cause problems within your body. And you have to drink. So we got to figure out how to get rid of that. Okay. All right. Here are a couple other things that are in our water system. Fluoride. 49 of the 50 states, actually, Utah just pulled this out of the water. I think it was 2 months ago. They're like, we're not going to put fluoride in our water anymore. I know that the dental societies and they're so worried about tooth decay. And the crazy thing about this is there hasn't ever been very good research to show that it by ingesting it, by drinking it, it actually helps your teeth. There has been really good research that's shown by topically, so that's why it's put in a lot of toothpastes. In fact, a lot of toothpastes have fluoride, but it's also why it says do not swallow this toothpaste. You're actually supposed to spit out the toothpaste for a reason. It actually says it if you look on the toothpaste bottle. So it's crazy that then we say, well, we're just going to put it in the water and it's going to make everyone's teeth better. Clearly, that's not the case. Clearly, people are getting more cavities now than they have in the past. And it's crazy that we're just like, oh, we're going to keep it in there. Unfortunately, here's the truth is that they have found that the higher the amount of fluoride, the higher the rate of, or excuse me, the lower the rate of IQ. It has an inverse relationship. So this is really interesting. This was again from a systematic review. You can see that on the bottom left. It was from the Journal of the American Medical Association Pediatrics. So uh, they were saying, yeah, we see that it definitely has a negative correlation with IQ. So hopefully, a lot of our states are going to be taking this out. Yeah, I heard Florida was. I'm hoping that's true. And so I know some other states are looking at it too, which is great.
Joel, I was going to ask if you followed Florida. I heard July 1st was the date for them
Really?
to
Did it
remove
happen
it.
already?
That's my understanding, but I was going to call my city and verify what they have, but July 1 was supposed to be the date in Florida.
Perfect.
Wow.
I heard it was coming up. I didn't know. That is awesome news. So
Yeah.
wonderful. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate
Hmm.
that. Um, So let's also talk about phthalates. This is something that is actually it's kind of funny. It's used usually in products to help keep smells longer. If you want to keep a perfume or a lotion or something like that, you put a phthalate in it to increase its pungency of its smell, right? To keep it longer. But the crazy thing about phthalates is it's also found in PVC. And a lot of our water comes through PVC pipes into our houses. And phthalates will actually leach out of your PVC pipes into your water and can affect you. So, what are the effects of phthalates exposure? Lower sperm counts, early onset of puberty, and fat deposition are three of the main things that phthalates will do. So, really big issue. And again, if you're interested in the research, like I want to jump into this and see it, those two articles on the bottom are great resources for you to look at for understanding a little bit more about phthalates and how they can lead to these issues. Okay. So, what can we do? Here are some rules. Use a high quality water filter. Okay. So you can use something like zero water. So zero water is going to take all of your um, phthalates. It's going to take out all your phthalates. It's going to take out all your PFAS, right? Oh no, no, I'm sorry. It's not going to take out. It's not 100% on phthalates. It is PFAS and your fluorides. It will take out all of them, right? If you want to get out everything that is in your water that is not helpful for you, then you'd want a reverse osmosis system. Now, I would recommend you get a reverse osmosis system that you could do. Like they have great under the sink systems now that are not very expensive. We're talking between $300 and $500, right? Not terrible. You don't need to go all out and do a whole house system. Those are extremely expensive. If you want to do it, that's fine. But as far as your drinking water goes, make sure that you have something that you get under the sink, that you have this reverse osmosis system. It can take those out, right? So these are different price points, obviously. Zero water is a little bit less expensive. I will tell you the filters can add up because we have one of those, but we've also had reverse osmosis systems too, right? Also, making sure that you're taking supplements that they're actually going to take these um, things out of your system, right? So I recommend this is one that we take. It's called VMG. It's made by doTERRA. It is a full spectrum vitamin mineral complex, and it also has detoxifying agents also. So if you look at this has vitamin B, folate, vitamin C, calcium, and all of those are going to help neutralize toxins that enter your system. So that is something great. It also has a lot of other things that will help neutralize toxins that are in your system. It's something that we take every day. We love it, and it helps if you get any type of toxins that you're trying to wash out. Okay. Let's talk plastics. We are surrounded by plastics. We have a lot of plastics in our lives. Now, are all plastics bad? No. But ones that we are particularly using to have things that we will ingest or things of that nature can be very detrimental to us. So if you look at something, for instance, these are found plastics. Well, let's back up. So BPA is usually what is the biggest issue. This is bisphenol A. It is a chemical that's used to make the plastics more durable. Okay. Now, unfortunately, BPA is an endocrine disruptor also, and it has been linked to the following: obesity, heart disease, cancer, diabetes type 2, and infertility. That kind of sounds like America in a nutshell right now, unfortunately. Kind of wraps us all up, right? But we use plastics all the time. Look, BPA is found in baby bottles. Think about that. The youngest exposure possible, where we have baby bottles that have BPA. Canned foods, they put it in the inside liners so it doesn't rot the inside of the can
Rust.
or rust the inside of the can. It's a plastic lining on the inside of the can, but it's leaching into the food. Plastic tableware. So think utensils, think plates, whatever. Those also have BPA in them, and water bottles. And I'm talking about big water bottles, like the big water containers. Those actually will, if you don't get a specific BPA-free water container, those are going to have BPA in them, right? The smaller bottles don't generally have BPA in them. However, I would caution against using on a regular basis using those just disposable water bottles because those can leach microplastics in, especially when they heat it up. If you've ever left one in the car or whatever, you took one out running with you, whenever it heats up, that's when it's going to actually start leaching microplastics. Okay. So, super important that we limit our exposure to anything BPA, and therefore you need to look for a symbol like this. A lot of products, if you have a plastic product that you're going to be using on a consistent basis, if it doesn't have this, then don't use it. You want to look for a BPA-free sticker on it, okay? Also, you can switch out. Like, for instance, I got obviously my glass water bottle, right?
We have them for the kids, even
Yeah.
the baby bottles, you can find glass. and
Which is
stuff.
tough because Justice likes to throw them. We've gone through a couple. So, but I'd much rather have to clean up a baby bottle and buy him a new one rather than have him have all these things that can disrupt his endocrine system. So, really important. Avoid BPA plastics that have BPA in them, and especially if you're going to buy canned foods, make sure it says made without BPA because they've gotten savvy to this. Health companies have, and they're looking for non-BPA. But let's be honest, if you can eat as fresh as you can, as often as you can, that's going to be your best bet where you can eliminate the possibility of having any BPA, right? Okay. Let's talk about some cleaning and personal care products. So this is one of the most common things that is found in cleaning and personal care items. It's called 1,4-dioxane. It is a cancer-causing emulsifier, so it's something that causes, bubbles and helps things to be scrubbed off. But it's found in a lot of cleaning products, including the following. Okay, let me talk you through this. This is one of the most insane things I've ever researched. Okay, according to the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, it's safe to have exposure of 0.35 parts per billion of 1,4-dioxane, right? In a product. I just want to show you that's what they say is the safe exposure level, but they don't require companies to test for it. So third-party testing has shown the following levels. Tide, 14,000 parts per billion. And the recommended level for EPA is 0.35 parts per billion, not even 1 part per billion. That is insane. I couldn't believe it when I saw that. I was like, this is crazy. So Tide, look at Gain, 10,000 parts per billion. We moved on. This actually kind of grinded my gears a little bit. Free and Clear, I don't have anything against any of these companies except that like Free and Clear is one, it's a Target made one, a dish detergent that they're actually trying to make it look healthy and good for you. Clean and clear, right?
Like natural.
It has 6,400 parts per billion of 1,4-dioxane in it. It's crazy. You just can go down. So basically, you're getting this cancer-causing agent on you when you're washing your clothes, when you're washing your hands,
Dishes.
when you're washing the dishes, when you're washing your hair. There's Pantene Pro-V right there. This one killed me. So this is Dial hand soap, right? Look, I pulled this advertisement off the internet. It says free from SLS. SLS is another thing that can have some negative health consequences, right? We're not going to go into them tonight. Parabens, again, another one. Phthalates, which is another one, right? It says, oh, look at all these things that we don't have in it. but yet it has a cancer-causing agent in it that is in a huge level above what it's supposed to be. It's crazy. So I just sit there and I'm like, okay, how can you avoid having things like this in your system? Well, um, you got to switch. You got to swap for healthier options. I'm very partial to doTERRA. Obviously, we love it. We have found that it's really, really, really clean. So here are some options. They have here are your lotions, or it's not not your lotions, your hair care items. Um, this is a hand wash that you can put inside your little hand dispenser. They also have laundry detergents and they have a dish soap. So they're just find a good one. We love doTERRA. It's a great way to switch out. Yeah. By the way, if you're like, oh, I wonder what's in my products that I have, there's an app called Think Dirty, and you can actually take it and you can scan in your grocery store and you can say, oh, what does this have in it? And it'll tell you, hey, these are all the problematic products that are in this, or all the problematic chemicals that are in this. So it's called Think Dirty, really easy download, and it'll tell you everything that's wrong with that and make you aware of what toxic exposure you might be putting yourself in, right? All right. The last thing we're going to talk about is home fragrances. So I don't know if you've ever walked into a public bathroom and that darn thing, you walk in and it goes, psh, and it sprays a mist of just, I don't know, terrible coconut passion fruit. I don't know, but it just makes me feel so sick every time. And I end up getting like a headache, and I'm like, oh man, I feel terrible. I'm like, not that I want to deal with the terrible smell that's in there that might be, circulating, but it's like this. It's terrible. I hate it. But a lot of times we'll do that in our own homes where we'll have candles or Glade plugins or whatever we have, right? And unfortunately, those are filled with a lot of these problematic chemicals. So formaldehyde, parabens, you can read the list, but these things are all they're irritants. Some of them are cancer-causing agents. In fact, several of those are cancer-causing. They're not good for you. They're not good to be having in your home. I was actually listening to a podcast. One of the number one toxicologists in the United States, they were asking her, well, what do I use instead of I love to use, Glade plugin or whatever, right? And she's like, anything with essential oils. You need to have essential oils because those are just from plants. They're not going to cause cancer within you. So it was fun to hear her give a little shout out to essential oils, but obviously I'm partial to essential oils too. So switch out. Here are three of my favorites that I love to use. These are great for diffusing in the house. Shinrin Yoku, it smells like you're in a forest. It is so nice. Citrus Bliss is one that if you've been in our office, you've definitely smelled. It's one of my favorites. It smells like a creamsicle, and I love it. And then Balance, that's another one it's one that I love to actually help get me ready to go to sleep. Very, very earthy feel. Kind of, I think spruce is in there. They have a lot of like fir trees in that one, and it's very, very nice, calming and grounding for me. So find a fragrance that really works for you that you really like and use that. Uh, Plus, the people that come visit you, your house guests will like you better. I mean, if you don't like house guests, then maybe just keep using a Glade plugin, and maybe you can ward them away, and just you can use your essential oils when just you're around. But so make sure, by the way, when you're choosing an essential oil, make sure that it is one that is pure. Unfortunately, there are a ton of essential oils that don't go through processes to actually make sure that they are actually clean. doTERRA oils, I love. They go through 54 different tests to make sure that they don't have any additives in them, that they're grown organically, that they don't have any, adulterations, yeah, any problems with them. So make sure that it's something that's clean. This is something that I always feel comfortable in our office especially because we're giving medical advice. I feel comfortable using doTERRA's oils because I know the efficacy and the stringency by which they go through to actually make sure that these are going to work for people. So ultimately, I hope tonight you felt like, okay, I've got some things I know I can do to take control of my life. Um, one thing I forgot to add, guys. This is just a little thing that was just coming to mind. You'll want to look at your spatulas too, because you don't want to use a spatula that like you don't. I don't like using metal spatulas on pans. But you can actually use, there are wood spatulas that you can use because if you use a plastic spatula, it also can have that BPA in it because it's been made rigid, right? And it's supposed to be rigid and it's supposed to be stronger so that you can, use it to get stuff off the pan. That's going to release those that BPA into your food also. So even if you get a BPA free spatula, you still might have problems with microplastics. So I would recommend getting a wood spatula. I would recommend teak wood, Teak. It's the same thing that they make a lot of outdoor furniture in. It's extremely hard wood and doesn't need a lot of management, but you can use it. It's very strong. And therefore you can use it just like you can a plastic spatula and you're not going to get the negative side effects. So I hope tonight you've been able to feel like you can, yeah, take back your life a little bit and also not feel discouraged, but actually feel hopeful. Oh, okay. I have a game plan. I know what I can do to actually limit my exposure to toxins. Look, you're not going to limit everything because you'd have to stay inside, and that's not healthy. Don't stay inside all your life. You have to go out in the world. You're going to be exposed to toxins. Just do things proactively. And if you do things proactively, you're going to give yourself the best opportunity to have the healthiest and happiest life. All right, I'm going to pause it now. Here we go.